This is a video on the cost of predictable and unpredictable inflation, and in this video I'm just going to be covering the basics of it and just kind of giving some information to teach everyone what it is. So first we're going to start off with the costs of predictable inflation. So it is the economic and societal inefficiencies that arise when inflation occurs at a known and expected rate. While it allows individuals and businesses to prepare and adjust, predictable inflation still imposes costs. And these are some examples of when you can see predictable inflation in real life. So they're usually in menu costs, which is the costs incurred by businesses to change prices. Examples: reprinting menus when you go to a restaurant and inflation has hit. They will usually have to go back and reprint menus when their pricing goes up, and updated menu systems. Another one is shoe leather cost, and that is the increased cost of managing money and resources due to inflation. Some examples of that would be more frequent bank visits to withdraw cash because of the inflation that would be going on in the economy. And my last bullet is generally this imposes routine manageable costs, which is an example of that would be administrative updates, time spent adjusting financial behaviors. And in this graph you can see that it shows the inflation rate and then where it's predicted to be with high attention and low attention, where they have predicted the inflation to be. And next we're going to cover the cost of unpredictable inflation. So the definition of that is the negative effects caused by unexpected changes in the inflation rate. These costs stem from uncertainty, which disrupts financial planning, investment, and economic stability. And these are some examples of when you would see unpredictable inflation in real life. So to start off with, you would have wealth redistribution. So that is unexpected inflation benefits borrowers at the expense of lenders by eroding the real value of debt, while deflation has the opposite effect. Another one is the uncertainty cost. So that is when businesses and individuals struggle to plan for the future due to the unpredictable value of money, reducing investments and spending. And the third example is erosion of purchasing power. So workers and businesses may suffer when wages and prices fail to adjust quickly to unexpected inflation. So if businesses all of a sudden have inflation that they did not prepare for well, this will be detrimental to most of these businesses because they did not prepare enough in time. So that usually will lead to businesses and workers suffering when these wages and prices fall. And my last bullet is unexpected inflation causes severe disruptions such as wealth redistribution, economic stagnation, and reduced trust in the financial systems. If there is unpredictable inflation and the economy or businesses and workers did not know about it in advance, it will lead to these people not trusting the financial systems as much because they did not prepare for it and they suffered in the end when they felt that they could have been known about it in advance, which would have led to them not suffering and then being able to bounce back from the inflation pretty quickly so that they did not suffer as much. So this is a real world application of predictable and unpredictable inflation. So for predictable inflation, menu cost companies like grocery stores use precious resources periodically, changing out prices, reprinting tags, and updating their systems to reflect steady expected inflation, whose opportunity cost of what else they could have done with their resources is passed on. So that's an example of predictable inflation in the real life. And for unpredictable inflation, wealth redistribution, German hyperinflation in the 1920s saw borrowers benefiting by the way of devalued debt and lenders being at loss. Therefore, financial instability with people losing trust in the economy, and that is an example of unpredictable inflation in the real world. And this is my conclusion / what we learned in the video. So overall, it can be depicted that the cost of predictable inflation, such as menu costs and tax distortions, surface even when the inflation is anticipated. These predictable changes, though bearable, still have their effects on businesses and consumers in their daily operations and financial decisions. Fully understanding predictable and unpredictable inflation has implications for individuals and businesses. Businesses' wealth distribution behavior, investment in earning and spending power. That is to say, the more significant planning and stability are in the economic systems. Predictable inflation can be planned for, but there is a lot of uncertainty associated with unpredictable inflation, which also comes with problems such as decreased savings, redistribution of wealth, and rising costs of borrowing. It is this uncertainty that makes it so hard for governments and businesses to make tough choices when dealing with inflation, which is why inflation as a whole is just so hard to deal with in general, because the inflation could change overnight and businesses would not know how to deal with it. And that's why they try to predict for it in order to not have that happen. But yeah, that is my video on the costs of predictable and unpredictable inflation. I hope you enjoyed it.